So the Biden administration, Uncle Joe, he's reopened one of Trump's kids in cages facilities, right? So you remember the media frenzy. You remember they will always refer to this as kids in cages, right? And very, effectively that's what it was. They're putting kids in cages. And you remember this was extremely controversial. They were separating children from their parents when they were coming into the United States and detaining them and putting the kids in cages and because they're not allowed to keep them with the parents. So Joe Biden has gone and reopened one of these facilities, right? But now they're not calling them kids in cages. They're calling them migrant overflow facilities, right? Just like Uncle Joe's Rainbow Coalition death cult. You got to kind of, you got to do the newspeak. So this was reported in the Washington Post, okay? First migrant facility for children opens under Biden. Look at that. Isn't that nice? They have like little social distancing and a projector. So I'm assuming this is perhaps a recreation room or something, but it's not where they sleep. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. So this is in Carrizo Springs in Texas. Dozens of migrant teens. Okay, so I'll get to the main point. Look, the emergency facility, a vestige of the Trump administration that was open for only a month in summer 2019, is being reactivated to hold up to 700 children ages 13 to 17. Government officials say the camp is needed because facilities for migrant children have had to cut capacity by nearly half because of COVID. At the same time, the number of unaccompanied children crossing the border has been inching up, with January reporting the highest total, more than 5,700 apprehensions for that month in recent years. So I just want to remind you very quickly, during the presidential debates, they sparred over this, right? And Trump accurately pointed out that Obama and Biden are the ones that built the cages. And it's true. It's true. They're the ones who built the cages. And in the thumbnail for this video, this live stream, that's one of the cages that they said Trump had built, but it turns out it was built in 2014. Right? I mean, this is, once again, you see how every administration is just a continuation of the first one, right? You have the Bush who goes and creates the Department of Homeland Security and by extension, ICE, right? And then, of course, Obama keeps ICE and he keeps the DHS, and then Trump keeps ICE and the DHS, and, he just changes the immigration policies to separate children from the parents, and then Biden just reverses that, but he still keeps ICE and DHS. It's every administration is a fucking continuation of the last one. They're all corrupt and crooked. So no surprises there, right? But just to remind you, what Kamala Harris said on the campaign trail. Just pay attention to what she said about this particular issue, right?
Trump administration overlooks the fact that what is happening with the detention of these children, the circumstances by which they arrived, is a human rights abuse being committed by the United States government. And so we are here to stand up and say that we are not going to allow this to happen, not on our watch. I will tell you, when elected, the first thing I'm going to do, one of the first things, is to shut down these private detention facilities. Just shut them down. Because let's be clear about what's going on here. There are people who are literally profiting off of the incarceration of children. Like, just reflect on that for a moment. There are people who are profiting off of the incarceration of children.
Yep. Yeah, there indeed are people profiting off of the incarceration of children. What did she say? Now, call me crazy, but I'm pretty sure what she said was, one of the first things I'm going to do when I get elected is close down these private detention facilities, right? Where it at? What are you doing? Where is it? You're not closing them down, you're reopening them. Pretty sure that's the opposite of closing down, reopening things, right? They just lie through their teeth so casually, right? I mean, what do you expect? You elected the author of the 94 crime bill and a prosecutor. I mean, I don't even know. I don't think we'll ever really know how many youths they've put behind bars. The figures that we have, the statistics of what the war on drugs has done, the decimation of countless communities, particularly communities of color. I mean, it's unbelievable, right? So what did you expect? These people, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, their entire careers have been spent putting people behind bars. This is what they do. They made a career out of this. So, I mean, we're not entirely surprised. But, you know. And now you can see Jen Psaki, right, who's the spokeswoman for the White House. Look at how she phrases it when she's asked about it, right? Again, it's not kids in cages anymore. You can't use that terminology. These are woke cages now, right? These are unity centers for children. So take a look.
This is not kids being kept in cages. This is kids. This is a facility that was opened that's going to follow the same standards as other HHS facilities.
So you heard her. These are not kids in cages. This is just another facility. Wow, what an interesting way to put it. I specifically recall people talking about kids in cages and concentration camps even. That's what they called them, right? And now all of a sudden, oh, it's just another facility. You can't use that language with us. You can't talk about that. Now they've changed the language, right? And you look at how they're reporting this, also in the Washington Post. Let me zoom in for you. No, Biden's new border move isn't like Trump's kids in cages. And then they just basically go on to say, well, look, man, you know, Trump was separating children from their parents. Okay, that's true. That's the difference. What about the cages? Are they cages or not? Well, you know, Obama, he's the one that put up these things, you know, these fences that they're cheap. They're good for ventilation. They're good for the guards. The guards can just easily monitor what's going on. And it's normal, you know, to have that because you want to separate age groups. You want to have, you know, kids by themselves. You want to have, young boys by themselves. You want to have families, whole families together. You want to have mothers with their babies in certain groups. That's what they're trying to justify it as. And yeah, it looks like cattle, but you know, it's not the same thing. And now Joe Biden, what he's doing, you want to see the upgraded unity woke cages? Okay. Are you ready for that? This is what it is. From Mobile Mini. So they call these secure portable offices, right? They're basically containers. That's what it is. This is where they're keeping the kids. And this is made by Mobile Mini. Now, I'm pretty sure those look like fucking bars on the window. I'm pretty sure those look like bars. Yeah, I don't think you should be putting children in that. I mean, if you're not allowed to leave, okay, because keep in mind, the children, they're not allowed to leave, right? They're detained. And you're putting them in a container. Now, you want to come here and tell me a container with bars on the window is technically not a cage? Looks like a cage to me. Honestly, that looks like a cage to me. Now, I will give you this. It has air conditioning, so it's a cage with air conditioning. Okay. Now, if you consider that a mild improvement, good for you. But you know, that to me looks like a fucking prison cell. Okay, that's the inside of it. That looks like a goddamn prison cell. So, I mean, and that, by the way, this is just from the promo video, right? This is just from the promo video. So I'm not even sure what it looks like in reality for the kids, right? I'm not sure what it looks like right now for the children that are actually being detained by the Biden administration and these 700 kids. And I want to make something clear also. Okay, I want to make something clear. If Joe Biden has nothing to fear, why doesn't he just let cameras in, right? Why doesn't he let reporters in to see what conditions the children are living under? If you have nothing to hide, right? You have nothing to hide. If you're confident that the way you're treating these children is okay, then show us. Where is it? Why are you hiding it? You remember Trump let in cameras, right? He thought it was going to like invoke transparency or something, and it backfired completely. Yeah, no wonder. I mean, you saw the pictures, you saw the videos. Of course, I don't know what they were thinking, but you know, we got a glimpse, and we got a glimpse of what it is. And you know, it's so funny when you see comments like these people saying, "Oh my God, what a relief! My son just hugged me and said, 'Mommy, no more kids in cages.'" Tears of joy and tears of sadness. Right? This is November 7th, right after Biden won. Really? No more kids in cages? Wow. I love the whitewashing. It's really great how they just whitewash the crimes of Joe Biden. And another thing I want to point out here for you, because there's a promo video, right? So there's a promo video over here from Mobile Mini.
Welcome to Mobile Mini Solutions. Our ground level offices are safe, secure, and very durable. All of our ground level offices are equipped with a full HVAC system. This type of unit is used for day-to-day operation like you would a normal office. Customers will bring in desks, they'll bring in filing cabinets, they'll hook up their...
I love how the moment he opens the door, it looks like a prison. Did you see the bars on the wall? I mean, I think this is what it looks like before they've actually put the rest of the stuff in. The blinds, the light, the thermostat. So this thing is customizable. I don't know what it actually looks like right now. If Biden administration nothing to hide, they would show us. But just to further show you what's going on, The Guardian, they also wrote something about this. And if you look at what's going on over here, right? Okay. So again, they're talking about Carrizo Springs, so where they've reopened this facility. And if you look down here, the camp's operation will be based on a federal emergency management system where trailers are labeled with names such as Alpha, Charlie, and Echo, names which are commonly used in military detention practices. Camp Echo, for example, is a notorious site in Guantanamo Bay. I mean, it looks like a prison. The people are detained. There are bars on the window. And you want people to acquiesce and just kind of reluctantly just accept that, like that's normal. No, it's not normal. And if you go and read one of the other pieces from the Washington Post, they're talking about how in some cases you had the detention per day per child was costing around $775 fucking dollars. $775 a day per child. Where are these children staying? In the Ritz-Carlton? You could literally put these children each with their own fucking suite in the Ritz-Carlton and have a kindergarten teacher make sure they don't leave their rooms for that fucking money. No. We can't do that, right? You know why? Because Mobile Mini has to make money with their federal contracts. And of course, all the other people that are involved in this gigantic supply chain for the prison industrial complex, right? Of course, Joe Biden, of course, Kamala Harris have no problem with this. They've spent their whole fucking lives feeding the prison industrial complex, sending scores of young Latino, young Black, young people of color to jail. They made careers off of this. They've made so much, exorbitant amounts of money for people in the private sector with their policies. Directly, literally, firsthand. So, of course, this is just, a continuation of what they've been doing for the last decades, their entire careers. And, as Glenn eloquently pointed out, the best line perhaps in this article from the Washington Post, right? Take a look at this. The most colorful trailer is at the entryway where flowers, butterflies, and handmade posters still hang on its walls from Carrizo's first opening in 2019. Wow. That is so comforting and reassuring. There are some flowers and butterflies painted. What does that mean? You know what this reminded me of instantly when I read that? It reminded me of the U.S. prosecution when during the Julian Assange hearing. They were saying something like, if you look at how prisoners are treated in these supermax, federal supermaximum prisons, right? That's the worst of the worst. So like ADX Florence, which is where Julian Assange would likely end up if he's sent to the US and convicted. They said that, no, it's not inhumane because, there's an arts and crafts program. What? The whole point of a federal supermax, and of course you also have ADSEG, is to keep prisoners isolated. They have no contact with others. And, you know, like you can speak to other prisoners by screaming at the top of your lungs, you know, and you can have a recreation by going to a separate room on your own. Like, it's just, what are you trying to dilute over here? This is absurd, honestly. This is absurd. And so, you know, AOC commented on this, right? So she said, this is not okay. We're talking about the reopening of the facility, right, by Joe Biden. So she's saying this is not okay, never has been okay, never will be okay, no matter the administration or party. Yeah, she's absolutely right. And over here, she says also that, you know, it's only 2 months into this administration, and our fraught, unjust immigration system will not transform in that time. That's why bold reimagination is so important. Okay, so I don't know if she's trying to, you know, cut slack for Biden here, but this line is important. Department of Homeland Security shouldn't exist. Agencies should be reorganized. ICE has got to go. Ban for-profit detention. Create climate refugee status and more. So she's absolutely right with this. I mean, as I told you just a few minutes ago, George Bush created the Department of Homeland Security, the DHS, and under that umbrella, you know, you have all the other federal agencies regrouped, and of course he created ICE as a result in 2005, was it, right? And then, you know, of course, every administration since kept that. They're all a continuation of the previous administrations. You know, they deviate a little bit, but in general, it stays the same. And so AOC is absolutely correct here, right? I think she should be given a bit more heat, though, and you know, I couldn't help but I mean, Hank's Fingers on Twitter says, AOC, will you be doing a follow-up photo op? Asking for a few hundred kids still in cages. So you remember AOC, she went and cried in front of the cages at the side of the children, which I can imagine, you know, is extremely gut-wrenching. Is she going to give the same heat to Joe Biden? Again, I completely agree with what she just said, right, about the federal agencies. But look at this, as someone points out over here, when it came to Trump, she was saying this administration has established concentration camps on the southern border of the United States for immigrants, where they are being brutalized with dehumanizing conditions and dying. This is not hyperbole. It is the conclusion of expert analysis. Okay, well, if that's true, and Joe Biden has just reopened one of those facilities, and, you know, he's just mildly alleviated some of the conditions, why aren't you giving him the same kind of heat? I just want consistency here. I'm not saying don't criticize Trump and don't criticize Biden. I'm saying no, criticize them both, hold them accountable. You're a congresswoman. You have extreme leverage, a huge platform. You know, give the same heat, right? I think it's a reasonable expectation. I think it's a reasonable thing to do. And so, you know, this mobile mini company, they're the ones providing all of these cages, right? I mean, you can call them what you want. If you think that children belong in office containers with bars on the window, and that's not a cage to you, you know, okay, good for you. You can stick with your own definition. The problem here is that you have private corporations that are still profiting off of detaining minors, detaining children, among, you know, migrants in general. These private corporations, they are making bank, just like they've been making bank the entire past decades, right? With the expansion of the war on drugs. And again, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, these people are directly responsible for that. And they're just continuing this. And they fucking lied through their fucking teeth. Of course you have kids in cages. Of course. Look who you elected. You elected Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. The guy who authored the 94 crime bill, and a cop, a prosecutor. They've spent their entire lives sending black kids to jail, brown kids to jail, sending people for the most, you know, the mildest of encroachments to jail, giving them whopping sentences for nothing. They made so much money for the prison industrial complex. Their entire fucking careers are built off of making money for the prison industrial complex. What did you think they were going to do once they got into power? Of course, they're going to keep locking up people. They don't give a shit if it's children. They've locked up already tons of children. They've locked up tons of youth. They've destroyed tons of communities, particularly communities of color. These people are fucking evil, man. They don't work for you. They don't work for, you know, the American people. They don't work for human, you know, actual human beings and have empathy for other people. No, they have just feelings for corporations. That's it. The only thing they want to feel is corporations lining their fucking pockets with dollars. That's it, man. Why do you kid yourself? Don't kid yourself. Don't fool yourself like that. And you know, what I want to see from AOC, what I want to see from the squad, yes, good. You're starting to criticize. Okay, do a bit more. Bring the same heat that you were bringing to Donald Trump. This is literally the same facility that Trump was running, man. You know, they put a bunch of kids, they moved them out of cattle cages and put them into office containers with bars on the window, and that's suddenly a bit better because it has air conditioning. Yeah, it's still a fucking cage. What the fuck are you doing? Give Biden some heat. Go after him, criticize him, do more. I want to see the same kind of rhetoric, the same kind of language, the same kind of discourse, the same kind of scathing critiques that you were giving Trump, the orange man. Right? If you care, you were going to the cages themselves and inspecting them. You saw what's happening right there. Surely, for the love of God, you must have some empathy left in you. I'm sure you do. I'm 100% sure they do. So bring some of the same heat. Just because he's a Democrat, just because he's leading your party, doesn't mean he's, immune from any sort of criticism. That's not acceptable. And, just another point that I want to raise over here that I think is really important is that not only are these corporations making bank off of this, you have to consider also the broader implications here. Why are there people coming to the United States in swaths? Why are there so many people fleeing their homes? Why are there so many people migrating, as they say? Because again, this is a dilution of the reality, and they do the same thing in the United Kingdom. They say, oh, these people that are fucking drowning in the Mediterranean or drowning when they're crossing from France over to the UK across the channel, that are drowning, right? They've come all the way from sub-Saharan Africa, or they've come all the way from war-torn Libya or war-torn Syria. Why are they coming there? They call them migrants. No, they're not migrants. They're refugees. You have destroyed their homes. You have decimated their infrastructures. You have destroyed and obliterated their loved ones, their friends, their workplaces, their universities. You have destroyed their countries. There are no more jobs. There are no economic opportunities. People are fucking suffering and starving, literally starving. You destroy their countries. You plunder their resources for hundreds of years, centuries. This didn't just start now in 2011. Centuries they've been plundering these fucking countries. They're plundering Africa, plundering the Middle East. And not to mention Latin America and Southeast Asia. They've been plundering these countries and then wonder, oh, why are they coming over here where we've taken all of their resources and built up these majestic cities, these developed countries, these first world countries, as they like to call themselves. Where did you get that wealth from? You fucking stole it. You killed people. You enslaved people. You stole and plundered their resources for centuries. You built yourself up, and now you wonder why they're coming to partake in some of that wealth that you took from them? And you call them migrants? They're not migrants. They're refugees. And it's still going on. You still have regime change endeavors. You still have sanctions. You still have this imperialist agenda being imposed on Latin American countries, Central American countries, on the Middle East, on Africa. And of course people are going to flee. Of course they're going to flee. Of course they're going to come to where you are, where you have built yourself up with their wealth, where it is safe, where you have advanced and developed yourself. Of course they're going to come to you. So don't call them migrants. They are refugees. Stop denying and masking the reality, the horrors that you have inflicted on them, that your allies have inflicted on them, the centuries of suffering, of enslavement, of plundering, the fucking history that's been inflicted on them. This is a fucking literal whitewashing of the facts. They're not migrants, they're refugees. People are literally fucking dying, man, just to get there. Can you imagine making a trip from sub-Saharan Africa all the way to the Mediterranean and then getting on a fucking rubber dinghy? I mean, think of the economic hardships, think of the personal losses that must drive someone to do that, to make that journey, to take such risks. These people have lost everything. They have nothing to lose. And they're still losing their lives, which is more precious than anything. You have people drowning, kids drowning in the fucking Mediterranean, man. What kind of existence is that? What kind of existence is that? Why are their lives worth less? Why are they being locked up in fucking cages like animals? Fuck you. They've destroyed our countries. They murder our people. They steal our shit. And then they dehumanize us further. They treat us like fucking cattle. Right? They lock us up in cages.